The Broncos had just lost to the Seahawks in the Super Bowl, and what I think just became incensed with was all the people talking about Peyton Manning's legacy being tarnished. And when I get upset, the thing to do is to write kind of how I'm feeling. And so I wrote a letter that I titled Open Letter to Peyton Manning, and it went viral because about 1 million people felt the same way. You can talk bad about how our team played, but you cannot talk bad about Peyton Manning's legacy. My name is Laurie Lattimore-Volkmann, and I'm a writer and editor for Mile High Report from SB Nation, and I'm also a journalism professor at the College of Charleston. I grew up in Colorado, so I've been a Broncos fan my whole life. Our day revolved around it. Go to church in the morning, we'd come home, we'd eat lunch, and we'd turn on the TV and we'd watch the Broncos. We'd learn about football because we'd watch the game, and I'd ask my dad a whole bunch of questions, and I got married and had kids. It almost seemed like a very important thing to make sure they were big Broncos fans from day one. Peyton Manning, to me, embodies the best of everything you could be as a football player. I appreciate how much he really puts into being the best of the best. He's the kind of player you can point to your kids and say, he just lost a game. He didn't go in the locker room and pout. He didn't not talk to the media because he didn't win. He didn't blame his performance on anybody else. And when you can point to players like that and have a role model for your kids, it makes the whole football thing even better. And so my son wrote a letter to Peyton saying, you know, he's his favorite player and he really hopes he has a good season and good luck and hopes he can meet him one day. We sent it to the Broncos, and I didn't really expect to hear back, but you know, you always hope you will. My family and I had already planned back in the summer that we wanted to go to a home game. So we're going for my son's first game at Mile High, their first NFL football game, their first Broncos game. We arrived in Denver on Saturday morning, and when I got to the airport, I had a message from the Broncos saying, Peyton got your letter and he really liked it and he'd like to meet you. Would you guys be interested? I'm thinking, yes, of course. He's telling me we're gonna get maybe, you know, it's gonna be very short. It's just a short meet and greet. It'll be, you know, just a couple minutes. We finally get in the taxi and I hang up the phone and my husband's like, what's that all about? I said, we're gonna get to meet Peyton Manning. And my husband's like, no way. And my kids are like screaming, yay, we get to meet Peyton Manning. And our taxi driver's like, what? We get to the hotel in the evening and they take us down to a lounge area by conference rooms. And a few minutes later, Peyton Manning comes out from an elevator. He just walks over. He's got his backpack on. He puts it down. He's like, how you doing? I'm Peyton Manning. Like, really? That's who you are? We had no idea. And he was just so mellow, just like shaking everybody's hands. How you doing? Are you coming to the game? All right, great, you know? Just shooting the breeze. And I'm thinking, our 30 seconds is gonna be up here soon. And he just walked around and signed everybody's shirt that they were wearing. And he's like, you guys wanna take some pictures? We probably took 10 pictures. And he's like, maybe just me and the boys? I'm like, yeah, just you and the boys. He like directed the whole thing and he spent I don't know, half an hour, 20 minutes with us. It wasn't long, but it's still 20 minutes out of his day. You look back and you realize, day before a big game, it's cool that he chose to let us be part of that. Everywhere he is, whether it's on TV or in person, he's the same guy, and he's a normal guy, and he has a very abnormal life, yet he treats you like he's just hanging out with you. My son, you know, Calvin says, it's like he's famous and he doesn't even know it, and I think that describes Peyton perfectly. This is the original Dear Mr. Manning. Dear Mr. Manning, I'm not a sports reporter, not an NFL analyst, not a former player. I'm a mom of 2 little boys who adore their number 18 jerseys and can't wait to find out how Peyton Manning's team did every Monday morning. It matters that you know the difference between being embarrassed by your team's performance and just not being the best team on the field that day. It matters that you take time to write notes to fans and sign autographs. But I want you to know that this mom of 2 young boys, who already recognize you're different from the others, believes your legacy has never been stronger. Whether you win another game, your accomplishment in football is nothing short of remarkable. But it's your character that sets you apart from so many of your predecessors and your peers. And that's a legacy that matters.